My name is Chris Schulmeister. I'm running for Allen City Council, Place 4, and it's an open seat.
Hi, my name is Melanie Hughes, and I'm also running for Allen City Council, Place 4.
My name is John Tony, running for Allen City Council, Place 6.
I'm Bain Brooks. I am running to be re-elected to Allen City Council, place number 6.
So, my name is Melanie Hughes, and I am not your typical candidate. I am looking to be something different for Allen City Council. I am a stay-at-home mom currently and a PTA president. Before I became a mom, I was a English language learner teacher, and then I was also a social worker, and I managed children with disabilities who were living in foster care. I've also worked at a university level, helping them acclimate to university life and be successful. So I feel like I have some advocacy skills that will help represent just the average citizen. I feel like we need to have more diverse perspectives on our council than we currently have. Right now I see no one who looks like me. There's not a young mom. I have young children. I have a preschooler and one in elementary. I don't see anyone who is living perhaps in the older sections of East Allen, making less than $90,000 a year. And those are unique challenges that need to be represented. So I'm hoping to give a voice to those people and to also take us into a more balanced council. Right now we have 6 businessmen or women with business backgrounds. And I feel like we need to have more diversity on council. So that's why I stepped up to run.
Very, very good. Okay. Question 1. What is your personal view of term limits for the Allen City Council and mayor positions? How many years do you think is long enough?
So I do appreciate having experience on the council, but I also appreciate having fresh perspectives and ideas brought in and allowing opportunities for others in the community to serve. A lot of people are, I guess, perhaps intimidated to run against an incumbent, especially when currently we have a mayor who has been serving our community very well for more than 2 decades. So I am a favor of term limits. I feel like it allows people to have the opportunity to be accountable for what they said that they were going to do when they got onto council, while still giving time to serve their community, but not, I guess, I don't want to use that word, so I'm trying to think of a different word. Maybe staying and not allowing somebody else to step up. So I am in favor of term limits.
Real quick, how many years do you think is long enough?
Well, I do believe serving on council for a total of 12 years is long enough. I'm not sure how. Okay.
Question 2. In your opinion, what are the most important issues the city of Allen faces?
Growth development. We have very little land left to develop, and we need to be careful in how we do it. We already have a great city, but we do not want to overtax our infrastructure or our city resources, especially our first responders, with crazy new builds that are outpacing what taxpayers can afford. I'm also concerned with tax initiatives and abatements given, because I haven't been able to find any real cost-benefit analysis that's available to the public on what the EDC does for us. And I would like to be able to see that before we continue to have our taxpayer monies going to developments that people maybe not desire in the city.
Very good. Question 3. The city council has lowered the tax rate for several years, but not back to the effective tax rate. And as a result of increased valuations, taxes rose for most property owners. If elected, what would you do to lower the actual tax dollars that Allen residents pay?
So this is going to be a controversial answer for some of the people that are in the room, but I would like to take a look at our charter amendment that allowed the funding of the EDC, which gets around 8 to 10 million of your sales tax dollars, and there are 6 guys that oversee it. So there are 2, an executive director and an assistant executive director, and then there are the 4 board members plus the 1 council member, and then they report again to the city council. That amount of money may not need to be going to source development that citizens are not happy with. And if we could put that back into tax relief for property owners, that would be my preference.
Question 4. What is a city strategic plan and its importance? In terms of the strategic plan, what do you like about it, and what would you change that is in the plan now?
Okay, so the strategic plan was something that was developed, I think the last one was 2014, where the city all comes together with the major partners, and they take in the AISD, they take all the city staff, they sit down and they come up with a comprehensive idea of what's going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. So we have a strategic plan for 2030 right now. I like what they're doing with the parks and the trails. I'm not so keen on some of the decisions regarding zoning. Oh, sorry, get distracted by this 30 seconds. So for me, there's a 2016 progress report available online right now. I would like to see the 2018 progress report to find out what has actually changed in those 4 years, because a lot has happened in the city that we're just kind of having ideas trickle out about, but it would be in that 2018 progress report on the 2030 plan.
Very good. Question 5. Conflicts of interest can pop up from time to time during the course of conducting city business, and that is perfectly normal. Please give us some examples of conflicts that could come up, and have you filed the state conflict of interest form before?
So I'm a stay-at-home mom and a PTA president. We have a sitting council member who is also a PTA president of her elementary. So there are no conflicts of interest. It would be something that I would have to further investigate if I chose to go back to employment.
Hello, everyone.
We are glad you're here. I don't have any current conflicts of interest.
Okay, very good, very good. Have we got any time left? I didn't do that, did I? Okay, question 6, bonus. How many city council meetings have you attended in the last year, and how many city council elections have you voted in within the last 3 years?
Okay, so I have participated in every voting opportunity since we relocated to Allen in August 2014. I did not attend city council meetings on a regular basis prior to filing, but since I filed in January 21st, I started to attend all of the board, not just the city council meetings, but the boards, commissions, committee meetings, and the corporation meetings in an effort to learn about the city. And further, I've been going through all of the minutes for the past 10 years for the P&Z, for the city budget, trying to get a grasp on where the city has been, where it's wanting to go, and where we can enhance it in the future.
Thank you.
But I have been to all of the city council meetings since then.
Okay, very
I
good.
think bar one, I think there might have been a forum.
Okay, that concludes round 1 for you.
Hi, my name is Chris Schulmeister, and I'm running for Allen City Council Place 4. As I mentioned earlier, I bring the experience and the proven leadership and a vision for the city of Allen. My wife Jeannie and I first moved to Allen in 1984, and we raised our son John here. My professional experience has been in finance. I've worked in corporate finance for about 17 years with JCPenney Company and the Velo Corporation, and about 19 years ago I broke off with a couple guys and we formed a company that I still work at today. I have a bachelor's degree in finance and an MBA from Southern Methodist University. I've served the city and the citizens of the city in several different capacities over the years. I've been on the board of the Allen Economic Development Corporation and the Community Development Corporation, and also 6 years on the board of Allen Community Outreach, 2 years as president. Allen Community Outreach is one of our only charitable organizations here in the city of Allen. I've also a longtime Rotarian and past president of that club. What I hear when I walk around and talk to the people of Allen is they want us to wisely manage the type and pace of growth in our city. And they want us to revitalize the maturing areas of our city, and they want to be engaged in the process. And as a council member, that's what I intend to do. I've been here a long time. I've seen a significant amount of growth in this city, growth that I'd like to think for the most part has been successful growth. Just recently, a couple years ago, Money Magazine ranked Allen the second best place to live in the nation. My wife Jeannie and I moved here because it was a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And I believe that is still the case today. So I want to represent the people of Allen. I want to be the voice of the people of Allen. I don't want to be a voice for a certain demographic. I don't want to be a voice for the male or the female or the young or the old. I don't want to be a voice for a certain specific area of Allen. I want to be a voice for the entire city of Allen. And that's why I'm here to ask for your vote. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Okay, question 1. What is your personal view of term limits for the Allen City Council and mayor positions, and how many years do you think is long enough?
Well, personally speaking, generally, I'm not opposed to term limits, but the term limits as they're constructed for the city of Allen are too restrictive and too disruptive, I believe, to our city. I guess I'll speak to you all. I think when you look at it in the context, you'll have 4 of our city council members, I guess, told to leave, essentially, over the next 2 to 3 years. And you're doing this also at a time when our 20-year city manager, Peter Vargas, is resigning. So I don't care if it's a private company, a city, or whatever the case may be, you would not do that to an organization. You wouldn't lose 4 of your 7 chief executives and then your chief executive officer as well. And that's why I just think it's not the right time or right thing for the city of Allen.
How many years?
I don't have any years. None.
That's fine. Question 2. In your opinion, what are the most important issues the city of Allen faces?
Well, first of all, I think that one is just to balance our urban development along with our quality of life here. You know, there's a lot of anti-apartments, and I'm one of those that, from the standpoint of standalone apartments. But we're on our final phase of build-out. We're a city of 27 square miles. We're not a city like Plano, Frisco, and McKinney that are 2.5 times our size. So we need to do it the way it's right for Allen. But let's keep in mind that this is our last opportunity to grow our commercial tax base. And that's really tax reform, folks. I mean, if you want tax relief for your residents, growing the commercial tax base is the right way. And secondly, I think it's really important that we have a great transition with our city manager after 20 years, and I believe my experience in the professional world will allow that to be seamless and successful and for the future of our city.
Very good. Number 3. The city council has lowered the tax rate. City council has lowered the tax rate for several years, but not back to the effective rate. And as a result of increased valuations, taxes rose for most property owners. If elected, what would you do to lower the actual tax dollars that Allen residents pay?
Well, continue to work as hard as we can. As you said, the city has had a history of 26 consecutive years of lowering the tax rate. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a Reagan Republican, so I know all about fiscal responsibility. I've worked corporate budgets. I think it's important. It's incumbent upon every city council member to make it their highest priority to lower the tax rates. And whatever the effective tax rate becomes, wherever it lands, I know that the city will manage through it, and I'll make it one of my priorities for sure. So we'll just keep working through it.
Very good. Question 4. what is a city strategic plan and its importance? In terms of the strategic plan, what do you like about it, and what would you change that is in the plan now?
Well, I guess if you're speaking of strategic plan, you're speaking about the comprehensive plan. And I believe the comprehensive plan is what really provides the direction for the city in the future. It allows the city to be proactive in all of its developments. So whether it's roads or infrastructure, that comprehensive plan is critical. I do think, though, that this is a great opportunity to revisit that comprehensive plan, particularly when we got a new city manager coming into place. And I think we're learning a little bit that there's areas in the city, like the Central Business District, and what's recently been proposed there, that we may have to take a step back and find out what fits each particular area. So an opportune time with the new city manager coming in to revisit the comprehensive plan and adjust it accordingly.
Very good. Question 5. Conflicts of interest can pop up from time to time during the course of conducting city business, and that is perfectly normal. Please give us some examples of conflicts that could come up, and have you filed a state conflict of interest form?
Well, I guess it could come up in any capacity, but not for me. Having served on the Allen Economic Development Board and the Community Development Board, we're advised of conflicts of interest, and if we're engaged with developers. And in my profession, I don't foresee any conflict of interest. In fact, when I was with Allen Community Outreach, we had the same kind of thing as when I was the president of the board. It's critical that that's not the case. So I don't anticipate that being a problem with me.
And have you filed a conflict of interest form?
I believe so. Yes.
Read the bonus? Okay, very good. Question 6. How many city council meetings have you attended in the last year, and how many city council elections have you voted in the last 3 years? That one should be a gimme, huh?
Yeah, all of them. But I think I've probably missed maybe a few city councilman meetings. But I will say this. I have served on the Allen Economic Development Board and the Community Development Board starting in 2011. I applied to be on that board 5 times and got rejected. I started going to city council meetings and said, hey, I'm Chris. I want to serve on one of your boards. When I first got assigned, every board meets once a month. And in the year since 2011, one meeting. I missed one meeting. So I'm here to serve, and I'm intending to do it to the best of my ability. And if I wasn't committed to that, I wouldn't be standing up here. So I'll be there, so I don't miss any.
Very good. Thank you very much.
My name is Dane Brooks. I'm running for re-election, place number 6, Allen City Council. Moved to Allen in 2000, and I have a wife of 22 years, 2 daughters. One's in college at the University of Washington in Seattle. She's a gymnast. And the other one is at Tuscaloosa University in Tennessee, and she's a tennis player. Just got the notice that they just won their conference, so congratulations to her. So with that said, we were kind of planted here in Allen, Texas. My wife and I raised our kids here. We're planted here and decided to sow some seeds, and things started to blossom. People started to trust us at our restaurant. We have a restaurant that we've been here in Allen for 17 years now. 17 years, our restaurant, 2 Rows, is right here on 75 in Bethany, and we're known for honey pepper bacon. But anyway, we've been there, and we've had an opportunity to blossom. You've trusted us in the restaurant, you've trusted us in city government, and so we thank you for that. That's just a little bit about Dane Brooks. We'll have information up here if you want to know more afterwards. Okay?
Very good. Just real quick, if you've got questions that you've already written on your card, just raise your hand and there'll be somebody come over and snatch your card for you. And as y'all write down on those and you want to turn them in, just raise your hand and we'll get somebody over there.
These are 30 seconds and minutes, right?
Yeah, you're going to start from scratch. I didn't use up any of your time. So, question 1. What is your personal view of term limits for the City of Allen Council and mayor positions? How many years do you think is long enough?
Well, the current city, I'm okay with term limits, but the way that they're written today, I struggle with that. You would never take, just imagine the City of Allen being a Fortune 500 company. Would you go into that Fortune 500 company and take the mayor, the 4 council members, and tell them to just leave? That's a bad business model. Allen's doing well. Why would you turn over the entire council on a term limit? It makes no sense. I'm okay with term limits. But the way that these term limits that we're seeing come our way makes no sense to me.
Very good. Question 2. In your opinion, what are the most important issues the City of Allen faces?
As of knocking on hundreds of doors here recently, the comments that I hear, property tax relief, property tax reform. We all know that that's a big conversation, and those are the things that are important to you all as I've been knocking on doors. We're continuing to talk about traffic, we continue to talk about water, and we've just got some opportunities. The transportation piece is something that we need to talk about as a region. You know, we just can't talk about it in the City of Allen. We need to get with Plano, we need to get with Frisco, we need to get with these other folks, and have a conversation on how we're going to fix it. There's been a lot of conversation that we do have a traffic issue, but there hasn't been conversation on how we fix it.
Very good. Question 3. The City Council has lowered the tax rate for several years, but not back to the effective rate. As a result of increased valuations, taxes rose for most property owners. If elected, what would you do to lower the actual tax dollars that Allen residents pay?
That's a good conversation. I wish you could give me that answer, because we've seen evaluations go up and up and up, and we've seen the tax rate for the last 21 years go down, go down, go down. I'd love to see us have both the rate and the tax go down. I'd love to see both of them go down. How do you do it? I don't have the answer. I really don't have the answer. I want to continue to be responsible like we have been. We pay cash for different things. We have a CIP program. We're in our aging neighborhoods. We're paying cash for big trucks and things that we need. Things that we need. So I would continue to do what we're doing. But that answer is a good one. I wish we had that. I wish I had the answer to that.
Question 4. What is the city strategic plan or comprehensive plan and its importance? In terms of the strategic plan, what would you like about it, or what do you like about it, and what would you change that is in the plan now?
We have a plan. That's the key. We have a plan. There's a lot of cities that don't have a plan on build out. We're discussing it. We have conversations about it. We're staying with our master plan. We're staying with our strategic plan. There's really not anything that I would change on our strategic plan at this current time. I would continue to have a plan. We don't knee jerk. We have opportunities that come up to us. We have conversations, and we have important and very strategic dialogue on our master plan.
Okay. Bonus. This is softball. Question 6.
5.
I'm sorry. No?
Yeah, 5, conflicts of interest.
Oh.
Nothing.
Right. This ain't the softball. Conflicts of interest can pop up from time to time during the course of conducting city business, and that is perfectly normal. Please give us some examples of conflicts that could come up, and have you filed a state conflict of interest form?
Have I filed a state conflict of interest form? Basically saying that I've had conflict of interest?
Well, it's a form that is required by all elected anybody.
Okay.
And if you have them, then you put them on there. If you don't, you just put none and you turn it in. It's just a form that you are supposed to turn in every year.
Well, I don't have any conflicts of interest. I used to cater for the city back in the day before I was on city council, being in the restaurant business. And as soon as I got on board, soon as I got on the council, I don't do any more catering for the city as far as food catering. So that would be the only conflict of interest that I could possibly have, I think. But I don't cater anymore for the city.
Okay, very good. Back to 6. How many city council meetings have you attended in the last year? And how many city council elections have you voted in the last 3 years?
I haven't missed any city council meetings, so I don't know how many that is. I haven't missed any, and I have voted. Oh God, I don't know the answer, but I try not to miss. I'm a super voter, so I try not to miss any. So with that said, I don't know the specific numbers, but I haven't missed any in a long time. So that's it.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm John Tony, and I'm running for Allen City Council Place 6. I've been in Allen off and on since the late 90s. My wife and I, we bought a house here in 2008. And this election is basically about what you think of the future of Allen and what you want out of the future of Allen. Whether you think the way we've been going is the way we should continue to go, or whether we need a change of ideas. You guys hear me okay? So, if you look at the way the city's been led and what's going on in the city, and whether they're listening to residents, and whether they're actively participating and listening to you guys and getting your ideas, or not. There are multiple things happening right now in the city, and people aren't really happy about it. In the downtown area, there's a central business district, and they're building it, and they've been, in 2014, they decided on this plan for 2030 to develop it in a certain way, and that's what they're locked into, and they're moving forward on that, and people aren't happy. And they're getting together, and they're trying to fight it, and as before, like Alma, and they widened Alma, and they didn't listen to them. Just like the cricket stadium they're doing, they're not listening to them on that. So people are concerned that the city's not actively listening to them. So if you feel like things are good and things are going forward, of course you're going to vote for the incumbent, because that's what you do. You're like, this is the way things are. But if you don't like the way things are, and you're thinking we need to slow down, we need to start listening to residents, and we need to back things up a little bit, and we need to have an honest conversation about the future of Allen, then that's what I'm about. You know, they talk about taxes, and they say they've lowered taxes for the last 20 years. But if you look at your bill and the check you're writing a bigger check every year. And I want to have an honest conversation. I want to start from an honest place. Say, yes, we're spending more money, and this is why we're spending more money. Rather than try to, use language or whatever to shield what's actually going on. So that's what I represent. I represent honest communication, openness, and just a change of ideas towards a more proactive, resident-centric governance policy. Thank you.
Question 1. What is your personal view of term limits for the City of Allen Council and mayor positions? How many years do you think is long enough?
So on the ballot, I think it's 12 years. I'm for term limits. I think a change of ideas is needed. In 3 years, after I'm elected, I would like someone to run against me. I think that we don't want to have career politicians. We need to have new ideas and new blood in the city. I'm not the best candidate. None of the people here are probably the best candidate. The best candidate's probably out there and not feeling like they can run or that they can actually make a difference because there's an entrenched political establishment here. So I'm all for term limits. I think 12 years is good. I think the people that have put this together have done a good job with that. So I'm for 12 limits. Oh, for a second, sorry. I'm for term limits. So I can stop there. I'm 100% all in for term limits.
Question 2. In your opinion, what are the most important issues the City of Allen faces?
So we have a quality of life that we like. Things are pretty good. But how are we going to continue paying for it in the future? Are we going to continue to build out and continue to write a bigger check every year to maintain what we have? Or are we going to try to stop things? And whenever the new economic downturn happens, because there will be a downturn, are we going to build up our war chest and pay for it? Or are we not? So I think really what this is about is, can we afford to continue building out, continue investing and reinvesting, or is it time to go, wow, things are really good, let's stop now, and let's pay for it in the future. Let's maybe not cut revenues, keep the same revenues, but pay for what we have, and keep what we have, and keep the quality of life we have now, rather than trying to spend so much more money simply because we have it. I feel like they spend the budget rather than look at actually what we need to do for the future.
Question 3. The city council has lowered the tax rate for several years, but not back to the effective rate. And as a result, the increased valuations, taxes rose for most property owners. If elected, what would you do to lower the actual tax dollars that Allen residents pay?
Okay, so honest conversation time. Can we lower revenues and pay for what we have? If the answer is no, then what do we cut? So we have to start from an honest place. Allen owns a golf course in Plano. It's not profitable. I think the last time the CDC gave him like 400 grand for, a fountain or something. So do we need to have a golf course in Plano? Do we need to do that? Do we need to spend money on that? I think our event center isn't profitable either. So we have these socialized businesses. Do we need them? Do we need to do that? So ultimately, to maintain things, we have to have the same amount of revenue every year. That's just the truth of it. So we either cut stuff or we maintain what we have. So I think that goes back to my previous answer. So really, what do we want to do? And that's me talking to you guys, talking about what's important to you, because I don't know all of your answers, but we need to have the conversation and start from an honest place.
Question 4. What is a city strategic plan or comprehensive plan and its importance in terms of the strategic plan? What do you like about it and what would you change that is in the plan now?
So I've looked it over. It's from 2014 and they have this idea of the way the city's going to be. And if you look at mass transit, they just say it's something that we'll talk about and consider. So is it that strategic of a plan if we're not talking about traffic right now? They're talking about developing and building out, but they're not thinking, well, how are we going to handle traffic? And if it's just widening all the roads, how wide do our roads need to be? And do we really want to have all those roads that wide all over Allen? So as far as the strategic plan goes, are the 2014 people the right people? Were they right at that point? Or do we need to have an ongoing conversation with proactive resident involvement about the future of the city? While certainly we can talk about the final build out and all of that, I think we can slow down. We can have some empty lots or whatever, and we can talk about not getting special use permits to 18,000 seat open air stadiums simply because we have the option for it. We need to, and by the way, there's two now, because they split, and there's two different companies that want to build a stadium, just so that they can finagle and say that they're going to compromise. That's what you can expect, so. Right.
Question 5. Conflicts of interest can pop up from time to time during the course of conducting city business, and that is perfectly normal. Please give us some examples of conflicts that could come up, and have you filed the state conflict of interest form?
Okay, so I work for a software company based in the UK. Recruiters are my clients. No one, I just can't see a conflict coming from me. It's just, I'm just a regular guy. I had to ask my boss if it was all right if I ran. That's me. So I don't have a grift. I don't have an angle. The one connection I have is that my wife is a musician, and she has friends all over the world that want to come here and play music. And I would love for Allen to have sister cities all over the world and kids traveling to there and them traveling back. But as far as conflict for me making money, I live in Winter Ridge. I'm just a regular guy, so that's not me.
Bonus. I think we're into the bonus, right? Okay, this is a pretty easy one. How many city council meetings have you attended in the last year? And how many city council elections have you voted in within the last 3 years?
All right. I've been to one. I was disengaged. Whenever I came up to run, I filed hoping that a better candidate would show up, because I was like, something's got to get done. I wanted that candidate to come, but he didn't. And so, you can look at the history of my campaign, and nothing was going on. I was like, well, somebody's got to come up. There's got to be a challenge. We can't have an election with just one guy. So that's me. I'm the guy caught up in my own bluster, wanting to change things, wanting to do the right thing. And that's what you get. You get a regular person that's going to listen to you, because he's doing the same thing. He's busy. He can't keep up what's going on. If you want to know what's going on in the city, you have to read the minutes. And I know just how painful it is for regular people, because I've done it. I mean, I haven't been to meetings, but I've read them, and they're brutal. They're hard to search, they're hard to see. And I'm a database guy, I'm a nerd, so I know how to collate data. I know how to get it to you, so it's at least readable and understandable so you can know what's going on. So that's it. So thank you. I ask for your vote, and I hope to see you on May 4th or early voting, and thanks for having me here.
Very good. Okay, this is to all of y'all. It's true, a yes or no, or for or against. Are you for or against the building of 15,000 to 18,000 capacity stadium at the proposed Alma and 121? Why or why not? So I guess it's more than a yes or no.
I'm against it. I've always said on several occasions, I believe that it's not the appropriate venue for that location.
Can they stand up so we can see them?
Sure.
See them.
Okay?
All right. I am, oh, do you want to do it again?
Who said that?
Oh, sorry. It was me, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm against it. I've voiced that opposition on several occasions, and I do not believe that the cricket stadium, as it's constructed or designed, or the 18,000 seat open air cricket stadium, is appropriate for that area of the city.
So I am 100% against building this cricket stadium anywhere in the city of Allen. I don't think it's an appropriate facility for us. In the strategic plan, we have already some multi-purpose fields that are supposed to be built on the second side of Spirit Park in phase 2 of that development. I think that we need to make sure that we are using our money wisely and following the plan as it is appropriate, and seeing if the interest actually lies in developing this sport before we build the stadium to you.
Yes or no?
Oh, I'm sorry, you said it, but you said
But there-
for
there was-
why or why not?
There was a little bit of why or why not.
Can I have just
Go ahead and finish.
30 more seconds?
No, not 30 more seconds.
Okay, all right. So this 18,000 permanent seat has been compared to the one in Florida, and that's in Broward County. If you look it up online, that one actually only has 5,000 permanent seats, and they bring in the other 15,000 as temporary
Okay,
seats.
stop.
Oh, sorry. Not profitable.
It's a 1 minute thing, so.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, it's okay.
I do not support the cricket stadium or the stadium that's being proposed the way it's being proposed, an open air 18,000 seat stadium. I do not support that.
At that location?
I do not support it at that location, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. I have not seen any other proposal of any other location.
Thank you.
We've only seen one. Thank you.
I'm against it. It doesn't really make sense for the residents there. They're not getting the residents' approval. So they need to earn the yes, and they're not earning the yes. And they're not even taking the path to earn the yes. The residents said, hey, can you put a lid on it or put a top on it? And they said no. And they said, well, how about fewer seats? And they said no. So if they're just going to say no to everything, then we just need to say no too. That's really all it's about. So I'm a no until they earn it. I guess I'll just get to it.
Okay, this is to everybody. Recently, we had an ICE raid. ICE, the police force, arrested 285, I guess, illegal
Can't hear your
aliens.
question.
I'm sorry. Recently, we had an ICE raid, and approximately 285 illegal aliens were arrested. What should the city of Allen do to discourage the hiring of illegal aliens in our city, and how should the city hold companies accountable who do such hiring?
Okay, so the company moved here and they got Allen Economic Development Corporation money. They're giving an incentive to move here, to create jobs, to whatever the agreements were, and they didn't. And I think it was like a quarter or a third of their workforce was illegal immigrants or undocumented workers or however you want to say it. So these are job creators that are creating bad jobs. So I'm against the job creators creating them. You know, people are going to be people. They're going to do whatever they can do. You know, all of us do whatever we can do for our families and stuff. But the job creators still haven't been arrested. There hasn't been any action. As far as what Allen can do is, they can create an equal footing for all businesses, to stop incentivizing one business over another, to stop picking winners, to stop rewarding the people that can play the game and get the incentives
Stop.
so that regular businesses have
Okay,
equal
I'm
footing.
sorry. Hold that up. Okay, never mind.
So that regular businesses can have an equal footing.
I apologize.
That's all.
Repeat the question, please.
Yes, what should the city of Allen do to discourage the hiring of illegal aliens in our city? And how should the city hold companies accountable who do such things?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's a city jurisdiction. That's a national jurisdiction. We have agents that take care of that. It's unfortunate that the company had this as a part of the protocol. They have not been convicted yet. We've seen all the soundbites on TV. But it was unfortunate for those who worked there. It was unfortunate for the city of Allen, for it to happen in the city of Allen. It was very, very unfortunate. And once we get to hear exactly what happened from those who were involved, from our agents, then I think we can make some decision. We can make assumption, or once we get the facts. But I think we need to wait till we get the facts. We're all going on assumptions at this current time. So look forward to seeing that.
Okay. So I'm concerned that we are not doing our due diligence with the Allen Economic Development Corporation, with seeking out the people we are asking to come in and create jobs. I think there needs to be some kind of oversight beyond just the staff, and then again, also just the 4 board members with their 1 council member and then the city council. That is a lot of money that they're playing around with, and it belongs to you. It could give you relief. As far as ICE is concerned, I would like the employees and employers to face the same repercussions. The employers should have been arrested alongside of them because they are the ones that are stealing jobs from people in Allen, and they should never have been allowed to be permitted for that. We also have incentives that now we have to engage in a lawsuit to try and recuperate those things. And as I spoke with the city manager, he said, not all clawbacks do come back to us because sometimes we have to settle. So that's more money we're losing. We need to do due diligence.
Well, I'm on the EDC, and I think some of the things they described are just flat out ridiculous. We do our due diligence on these companies, and quite frankly, most of those 4 people on the board are citizens of Allen, including me at one point. And we do work very, very hard to try to make the right decisions. And honestly, we have provisions in our agreements with these employers that if they do illegal hiring practices or they don't reach certain hiring goals, that we do indeed pull those incentives back. So I've been there, I've lived it. I haven't been just around the corner and sit around and criticize everybody. And I'll tell you what, we're fortunate to have an economic development board that brings commercial jobs and commercial buildings here, because you all talk about wanting tax relief, and I'm telling you that's how it happens in this city. And it's unfortunate what happened with the raid. We are a nation of laws, and there's no way that we as a city can can control what an organization does within the 4 walls of their business.
Okay, I'm going to do some real quick ones here, so everybody stand up. And it's going to be a yes or no or something to that effect. I'm sorry, these are going to be yes or no's, and they're going to be quick and one word, okay? Do you believe in standing for the American flag during the national anthem?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah!
I did. Oh, yeah, sorry, go.
Okay, next question. Do you believe in biblical marriage?
Yes. Among others.
According to the law of the land, yes.
Yes.
Next question. Do you support constitutional carry?
I do.
Again, it's the legal law of the land, yes.
Yes.
Okay, Okay, this is going to be a long answer, and did we get the four answers?
Yes.
Okay, because the mic is, I don't know where the mic's at. Okay. Who hasn't gone first? Everybody's gone first. Okay. So this question, what commitment will be made by city officials to be responsive to return calls and emails from Allen citizens, especially for the outdoor stadium?
Repeat that question.
Yeah, I'm repeating. What commitment will be made by city officials to be responsive and return calls and emails from Allen citizens? And I guess they're in particular, they probably sent a lot of emails about the outdoor stadium. So be more responsive.
I can't control the city. The city has a certain leader, and they have a certain way of doing things. And for me, I can't tell the city manager, I can't tell the city secretary what to do. That's up to the city manager. As for me personally, I'm very responsive. You can talk to anybody that's emailed me. I'm very quick to call back. People are always surprised at how quick I call back. I work at a desk, I get emails, my phone blows up, and I reply back. And sometimes I reply back far too long of an email. So if you email me, prepare to read, because I like to write.
Well, being on the city council for the last 7.5 years, I respond. I respond to those who to reach out to me. I'm very accessible. That's one of the reasons why I feel that I'm a good candidate. It's because I'm the better candidate because I am accessible. I have several people that come by the restaurant. I'm always there, and I'm very accessible. So that's one of the things that I'm proud to be able to share with you. Is you can always reach me, phone, email, or you can come by the restaurant.
Okay, so when I first started, I proposed an idea to have somewhat of a group email so you didn't have to try and individually reach out to your council members. And they have done something like that with the avoidance of a quorum. But I would really like, and this is what I have put on my platform in the beginning, is to have a way to track whether or not that they have read your email or read receipt. There needs to be the expectation that there will be a reply to you within 48 to 72 hours, whether that is by email, by text, by phone, or in person. We are public servants serving you, the public, and that is what I want to be able to do. If you have contacted me, you know that I reply within 24 hours. There have been occasions, because I have a little person, that sometimes it goes out to 48 hours. But we need to push for greater interaction, not just the city telling us what's happening, but us telling the city what should be happening.
Well, as I mentioned in my intro, that I've been involved with the city in a lot of different areas. Allen Community Outreach on the board for 6 years, and my church and economic development. And I have a proven history. You can go ask people. A lot of people know me, that I go out and reach out to them, and I am open to them. They have my business email, they have my personal email, and fortunately, I'm kind of in the twilight of my career. That's a good thing. I'm close to retirement, and I'm going to commit to being a city council member, and I believe that there is a more of an effort that has to occur between the council and the citizens. And my commitment as a city council member is going to be no different than my commitment serving the citizens in every other capacity. Is I will be there, I will answer every one of your questions, and I will have a meet and greet. I'll come to your home if that's what you like. You probably don't want that, but I am that much committed to it, and I have a record of it. A long record.
Very good. How much time do we have left? Because we got 1 minute each for closing candidates. Have we got 4 minutes left? Or?
Yeah.
Can I get another couple more questions then? Okay. In keeping with asking any and all questions that we get, here's one. There's no limit. You get your 1 minute. How will you protect LGBT rights in Allen?
Well, I guess I'm for being all-inclusive. I don't know exactly the answer to that problem, or situation, but I will say that my partner is a gay man in my company, and he's been my lifelong partner in business since since 1986. And when he came out and told me he was gay, I thought nothing different with him. We're still partners today. I think that, again, we have to be an inclusive society. I have no prejudices towards anybody, and I like to think that our city does a really good job of being as inclusive as possible.
So I think that we need to make sure that we have set expectations, especially within city staff, city council, that will provide a model for other citizens of inclusivity and what is a standard of what everyone deserves to be treated like. Not just should, but how, and an outline, what kind of rights everyone should expect from the city.
Well, I'm all about inclusivity. People are people. Our blood's red, all of us in this room, black, white, Jewish, Asian, and I would for LGBT rights, I would expect that we would treat everyone the same. I think it's important. I think it's our God-given. God gave us that ability. He wants us to do it, and we treat everyone like a human being.
So, as you guys know, I work around recruiters, and recruiters talk about the best talent. And if we have policies in the city that treat one class of people below others, then we can't attract the best talent. We can't get the best people. So we need to make sure that the next city manager we get, because Vargas is retiring, will say that we have a non-discrimination policy that includes the LGBTQ community. Otherwise, we may not be able to keep the best talent, and other cities may get the best people. So we need to make sure that as a city, we treat everybody equally through statute rather than through, how do you feel? I feel this way. I think we really need to codify it.
Okay. So that concludes our round two, and we've got 1 minute for each candidate to give a closing statement. Musical mic, go for it, Benny.
All right, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, giving us the opportunity to share our passions with you. I've been on several boards. I'm the past president of the Greater Dallas Restaurant Association. I'm a father, I'm a husband. I have a business, 17 years. I've got experience. I'm running on experience, and I'm running on relationships. So therefore, I've been on the council. I can share with you things that we need to get done as a team, because it's not an individual thing. If you really think getting on the council is an individual thing, it doesn't happen. The mayor and I co-authored a bill back before I got on that we wrote together and sent to Austin. That's the kind of experience I have. I love people. I serve people in my regular job, and this being my second job, I would like to continue to serve. I'd like to ask you for your vote. I want to thank you for your support. I've been endorsed by 5 of the 6 council members that are on staff at this current time, Allen City Council. So I have the experience, they believe in me, and I think I would love to have your vote. Thank you.
Okay, so I am an atypical candidate, but I am definitely a voice for the people. I think that we need to have someone who is a critical thinker, who is going to ask the questions for the people who are not necessarily represented now. I think we need to have an equitable division on council, and I think that I can bring that representation. I also have been endorsed by, just like Bain, by the fire and police. This public safety have endorsed me, which I'm very proud of, because they felt that my service to others, and you can check it all out on my website, I'm not going to recite it for you, has been enough to be able to serve you as citizens of Allen. So I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
So I care deeply about this city, and I've proven that over time. I'm fully vested in the city. I've been here a long time, and darn if I can't have to say that I'm pretty much proud of what we've become as a city. It's easy to be a critic when you've been on the outside or lived here 3 or 4 years. But when you've lived here 30 years and you've seen a lot of the good things that have happened, you can't help but be proud. I mean, I know some things don't work right, and heck, they might not work right in your house, but you don't throw out your husband or your spouse or whatever. for that. I have also been endorsed by the Collin County Republican Party. The Dallas Morning News endorsed me. I know a lot of people don't get the newspaper, so I brought a copy out there, and it really shows a good comparison of the different views of me and my opponent. I ask for your vote. I promise to be fully committed to all Allen, not just, again, a certain demographic, like I said before. I'm representing every person in the city of Allen. So, again, I ask for your vote, and thank you.
So, I haven't been endorsed by any city council members. I'm not the establishment. You're going to have other city council members that are going to represent that idea. Me, I'm a problem solver. That's what I do for a living. I've consulted multinational corporations. I've consulted single startups. I solve problems. I look at things and I try to fix them. And if I can't cause positive change in 3 years, what am I going to be doing as a politician? Like, why am I even there? Like, these people that serve multiple terms, that's great and all, but do what you got to do, get done, and get out so the next people, next ideas, and the next sea change can come. Because ultimately, this is your city. We're servants, and eventually you're going to have to serve too. You're going to have to set up, and you want to be involved. You want to know about things, but they don't make it easy for you. They don't make it easy for you to see what's going on. They know you're busy, and they depend on that. So the interests that run the city, that contribute $2,000 to campaigns, they don't want you involved. They don't want you involved with things. So I want you involved because I know that people,
The hook,
talent, makes a city.
the hook's coming.
So that's you. So I need you guys, I need all of you guys, I need you to tell your friends
It's
to vote
over.
for me because we need a change of ideas. Thank you.
I can't thank y'all enough for coming here and making this a successful forum. Y'all conducted yourself with honor and dignity and grace, and I totally appreciate it. Thank you very much.